So this next interval that we're going to talk about is called the perfect fifth, a perfect fifth. And it's A, if A is our root, the perfect fifth is all the way up there to E, A to E. Now when you look at two strings, it looks like this. And if you've ever noticed, there's these chords called power chords. They're also known as fifths. Like, for instance, an A5 chord is a root and its perfect fifth. That interval is a chord that we use in rock music. And look, I used an interval. I took a A5 chord, which is a root and its perfect fifth. I strummed it, and I moved it up a minor third. And that, my friends, is music theory. Just those terms I use. That's all it is. It's just talking about the language. All right, let's review the intervals that we have learned so far from the A note. We have a root. That's called a minor second. Up a whole step is called a major second. And most of the time when I'm teaching, I usually say a half step and a whole step. I don't say minor second or major second, but you're going to want to know them. You really do. Then we have this. And that's called the minor third, A to C. Then we have this distance. And that's called a major third. And you can hear it sounds happier than the minor third. The major second has a happier sound than the minor second. Okay? Then we have the perfect fourth. And that's also how we've tuned the guitars, except for the B string. And the perfect fourth is also Here Comes the Bride. That's a message. Here Comes the Bride is a way to identify the perfect fourth. Perfect fourth. Then we had that crazy thing called the tritone. Then the next distance was the perfect fifth. And that's like the superhero, Star Wars, Indiana Jones. And we learned that when we play that interval together, that's the rock chord, the power chord. So the fifth looks really good right here. Root, fifth. Root, tritone. Root, fourth. Root, major third. Root, minor third. Root, major second. Root, minor second. Root, again, if you want it on the open A string. But the intervals you really, really, really want to see next door like that, the thirds. So if I have a root on the E string, it's really good to know that that is its minor third, because we're going to learn to build our own chords using this technique next. So that's the minor third. Also, that's the major third. Here's the perfect fourth. Here's the tritone. And here's the perfect fifth. Okay, the next interval would be this note, which you could also see it this way. It's A to F. And that's the minor 6. And you can hear it. It's got a kind of a dramatic sound. Or like a sad melancholy. Minor 6. So the next one, what do you think that's called? That's called the major 6. And here's where we want to see this major 6 from the root as well. Like I said, we're going to be building chords knowing these intervals. So I will recommend that you might want to watch through these modules a couple of times just to, you know, let it sink in a little bit. So we have the root, and we have this 5th. So the next number up, somewhere around here, is going to be the 6. We have 5th, minor 6, major 6. Now check it out. We can find that same note on the D string on the 4th fret. So I'm actually skipping the A string there, but that A to F sharp is a major 6. And I find a lot of jazz players call that the 6. And then they call that the flat 6. I see people say that, so. So let's review our intervals from the perfect 4th up. Perfect 4th. Tritone. Perfect 5th. Minor 6. And I'm going to go like this now. 4th fret on the D, major 6, A to F sharp. That's a major 6 interval. Okay, so now we have, and that's called, you can guess, correct, a minor 7th. A lot of times they refer to that as the flat 7th as well. And these two notes, this interval, is a very important interval for the blues. That flat 7 with a major 3rd, but an octave up from this one. And that minor 7. So if I know my intervals well enough, which you may, you know, it's okay if you don't know them well yet, but what I'm saying is knowing those intervals is how we'll construct chords and know how, you know, how to make our own voicing. So if I knew that an A7 chord was a root and a major 3rd and a flat 7, then I could find the different ranges of those intervals. So what did I say? Root, major 3rd, and flat 7. That's a really cool chord right there. Okay, and then the root again's right here. It's A again. So the major 3rd's right here. So I could play this one instead of this one, and I could do something like this. Root with that flat 7, and the major 3rd. Now I have that as another way to play the same chord. See, so we're building into that. So here we go. We've got a root to the major 6. That's that interval. Then we have root to that, which is called the minor 7. Now notice, the minor 7 up here, we're almost at the root again. So it's really good. This is really important. Listen right now. The 7th, that minor 7, it's a whole step down from the root. So, in other words, I'm at the minor 7, and it's only a whole step away from the starting point again. So that means there's only one more interval from A before it's the octave. The seventh, it's the last number that we use. So that's the minor 7. Now a half step below the root is, in other words, you've gone all the way up and it's the last possible interval before it starts over to the same note again. Just a half step below is called the major 7. So in other words, you've got a root and you've got its minor 7, which is a G note, and you've got its major 7. Then you have root, octave. That's it. Those are the intervals, and we're going to build chords with those. So real quick, we got minor second, major second, and I'm all back to that. So we've got minor second, major second, minor third, major third, perfect fourth, tritone, perfect fifth, minor 6, major 6, oops, minor 7, major 7, octave. That is the intervals, and it's going to be our building blocks. So I know that was a lot of talking, but as I go through, I'm just going to keep bringing these little interval ideas up because we're going to build some chords and expand our knowledge.